Welcome back, everybody, to Phil's Recap and Review, Better Call Saul, Season 2, Episode 8, Fifi. And we're here today to talk about this episode of Better Call Saul. It is just really good to be excited and enjoy something on AMC. I'm not want to talk about any other shows, but it is really good. Was this the best episode of Better Call Saul for me personally? No. I mean, this episode and the last episode, I feel like were two big setup episodes to lead us into the finale. I personally enjoyed this one a little bit more than last week's episode, but still, there were some amazing scenes and individual performances. Use of color in this episode was probably maybe the best of the season, and just editing in general is just exceptional. I guess I just feel the Mike stuff is still excited to me. I want that to come to a conclusion quickly, so I'm really excited for it. But I really love the Jimmy and the Kim stuff this evening. We're gonna get into all of that stuff, or not this evening, the other night, last night. But before we go there, I want to introduce you to my friend that's joining us today. That's finally back from. He stayed up for a whole day straight, being so tortured and pain. He was up staring at a flame, a candle, looking at the candle, crying, trying to say it's all right. AMC did not hurt you.
Walking back and forth.
Yeah, I know, Joe. It's tough. Welcome back, Joe. So we got Joe with us today. That's like Chuck without his space.
The thing is, I don't look at it like AMC hurt me. They're just a channel. I know there's a comment about who owns what and all this shit, but AMC also has Better Call Saul. They also gave me Breaking Bad. They gave me the first 5 seasons.
In fairness, what everyone says is Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad's owned by a different company. But but let's not.
It shows. It
does show. Someone says the daylight's washing me out. Oh, sorry guys. Let me cover up the daylight right like this. It's tough. I know. I'm like a vampire. I shouldn't be here in the lights. I'll cover myself with a blanket. No, make it stop. Oh, but we are here. KLC, welcome, buddy. Welcome, Sam. Welcome, Tim. Welcome, some of our friends that are joining us live this afternoon to talk about this episode of Better Call Saul. As KLC was mentioning, I think, and we were discussing this last night. Again, this wasn't probably my favorite episode of Better Call Saul.
I loved it.
You love this episode, but that's what I was about to say, Joe. Even in episodes that I'm not the hugest fan of, this is still my favorite show on television right now. Right now, that's on air before Game of Thrones starts. There's so much little stuff, but I can't lie and say that everything in the episode I loved. For me, my highlight of this point of this episode was also the Chuck stuff. I don't want to demean the Chuck stuff. Chuck was amazing.
There's so much great stuff. Right from the opening.
It was the Oreo cookie a little bit to a certain extent. To me, that beginning, and I think it's my own issue because of I enjoy the style of filmmaking that is done in the Breaking Bad. In the beginning segment of this episode reminded me so much of a Breaking Bad episode that I expected to see a Pollos truck when they were doing that whole truck intro with the music and stuff. Just so intense. But Joe,
I don't in the background somewhere.
Yeah, just in the background somewhere. I don't want to demean any part of this episode because I really do love every section of this episode.
Yeah, no. I completely feel you. I feel like it was, to pull out like an episode and say this is my favorite episode. I could probably do that, but they're all just so goddamn good.
They're awesome.
Right from the beginning, I really loved the beginning, the traffic, the truck route into the country. Thank you, NAFTA. And just the way it was done, the following of the police car into the area, just all of it. The music that music that went with it.
So perfect.
It was like one shot. Am I wrong? Was it one camera shot? The whole thing.
Pretty much, it was
from following the car.
Yeah, basically, it just kind of followed a single camera angle, and it really, again, I hate saying this because I don't mean this as an insult to what Better Call Saul. I think Aaron Paul said it perfect recently. I heard an interview where he said, "You know what Better Call Saul is? It's really not a prequel or a sequel. It has those elements." But it's its own show. It stands on its own. And that's what makes it great. It has the elements of prequel and sequel in it, but that's not what makes the show great. It stands on its own as just an amazing show.
It is a show of its own that has Breaking Bad Easter eggs riddled through it. It has zero to do with that story for at least however many seasons they want it to. There are some characters that are the same, but like just like life, like, you know, like there are people that you're acquaintances with that you don't know yet, that you have known in the past, that have nothing to do with your current story. And this has nothing to do with Breaking Bad's story. It's just people from that same town years earlier and what kind of shit they're getting into. It is so standalone. It's brilliant. It's perfect. And that's such a unique way of doing a prequel. It blows my mind.
Just to jump into what Big J says when Big J calls, and he says it's art. It's art. It's studying real life. Real life looks at real life situations that we interact with in the Jimmy and the Kim and the office dynamics, which is incredible.
Chuck and him, his brother, I know I would do this. You know, I would do this for you. You know that in spite of the problems we have personally, I wouldn't let you die in a fucking gutter or in jail, Jimmy. You know that, right? I love you.
I thought you were about to say Marvin, your brother Marvin. I thought you were going to say no, Marvin. You and me might not have
same thing. Like my brother, I will take a bullet for him. I will shoot someone for him, even though we don't see eye to eye, and we might not be so very close. Like personally, I might not know him if he wasn't my brother, but he is my brother, and hey, that's that.
And I can't say enough things. I mentioned it in passing at the beginning of the show. The use of color in this series is just better than maybe anything. The way it reminds me of a stage show, like a really well put together, deep stage show where different colors convey different emotions. And each character, as they go through different moments and different times, they express themselves in different color emotions. Kim's the best way. Kim, throughout the whole entire series, everything that she's gone through is from a personality trait to the point in this episode where we see Kim with real joy and beauty of doing something herself, not being attached to Jimmy's way of life, and doing things to try to find her own path, and seeing her connect to those other clients with the suit metaphor and the way she came to Jimmy with shared joy. The color palette on her completely changed, and she started to look it's hard to explain what color, but they took her from this like weird sort of in indigo, Hamlin indigo or something, whatever that thing is in this episode.
It's amazing because the thing is about the color fill is that, you know, Santa Fe is in and of itself its own color palette. Like if you go to the store, there's Santa Fe this, Santa Fe that, like that for some reason that area, New Mexico area, is known to be just this colorful kind of like place.
No, I've been there. It really is the way, just anywhere in the desert for that.
It really shows, and they capture that perfectly in this series.
And we talk about this a lot. It's just so goddamn cinematic on everything they do. And I agree with KLC. Sorry, Joe, I'm going to mute you for 1 second. So until we see such cinematic style in this show, but ultimately I think that the story doesn't always grab me crazy. Like I need to know what happens next, so to speak. Like in this episode, I know what's going to happen. Ultimately, I think with the Kim and the Jimmy situation, and you can follow the points, and it's just in those. It got made fun of a little bit when we talked about it from The Walking Dead, but with this show, it really is about the journey. It's about those individual moments and those individual scenes and seeing those real human interactions. It's just really cool stuff that I cannot get enough of. Let's jump into the chat for a second. Speaking of Aaron Paul, one of my friends had tickets to see Jimmy Fallon. Oh, you were in the audience when he was on the show? That's fucking awesome. That is fucking awesome, Sam. And Tim says they got to say this chat. I can read everything. His mic, KLC says his mic sounds like a whale. And KLC's, yeah, the whole show is just so fucking colorful. Welcome, Brown Sugar, too. And I can hear in the background, I think I hear a crow's breath.
Yes, I just got a special delivery, and a crow has flown in. She brought me some Dunkin' Donuts.
We got a crow flying on in. But this is just such an exceptional show with that stuff, and I feel like the Jimmy and the office stuff with Kim, with interactions with that, to me in this episode was a lot more interesting to me than it was necessarily last week. I love the interactions with Howard. We were talking last night where Sam was saying she's more is like me. Sam and I are similar. KLC said he's hated Howard the whole time. This episode made me flip around on Howard again. In the matter of months, I flipped around on Howard 3 fucking times.
I still like him. I don't think he did.
You still like him. KLC hates him.
What did he do wrong today? He did what he was supposed to do. He tried to save his business.
No. I'm
saying punished Kim all that time.
That's what exactly, Katie. That's what pisses me off about him is that the fact of watching him go to Chuck with hand in hat going, my anger got the best of me. I was Luke Skywalker, my anger, so Han Solo got fucked up because I left my Jedi training early, blah, 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 blah. Or whatever. Him complaining, seeing how by the book corporate he is and not very human in a lot of ways, and his humanity gets buried in his desire with Chuck. That's what I don't like about Howard. But then what I do like about him is when he connects to Kim, because I believe him when he says, I thought about getting out of here. I respect you for doing this. I actually believe him.
Yep.
I fucking believe him. And that's what, and again, this is what the show does more than anything.
Well, I think he's still jealous of.
He is a little jealous, Joe. But
he showed that.
This television program is so beautiful in the grays. It does not show you a good or a bad person. It just doesn't do it. We talk about Game of Thrones. There are a few bad people on Game of Thrones. There are a few actual
pure evil.
Bad people. Pure.
Yes.
There are few of them. Most of them are gray. There are a few of them. On this show, there are no evil people. And it's real life human drama. And I cannot get enough of this.
That's what I love. I love Howard. He's one of my favorite characters, and he's getting more and more to be my favorite because he's so. I can't decide. Is he a good guy? Is he a prick? Like he's just so dynamic.
I love his robot, like his model-esque, just constantly.
Oh yeah.
His Scarlett Johansson robot. Sorry guys,
and that's why he needed Chuck there because he's like, I can't sell this. I am not human.
I'm not human. and Chuck showed that he's more Jimmy than we think he is.
Oh, yeah.
Chuck can play the con game when he has to.
Lawyer.
And he came out of there. And Chuck was just amazing in that scene. And we'll get to that scene. Let's jump in the chat. KLC says, it's not that I hate his actions. I just hate him as a person. Great one. Ethan, huge shout out, motherfucker. Huge shout out to you, buddy. Lots of love. But Brown Sugar says, I liked Howard this time. It's tough. Howard's just one of those people that it goes back, for me, just totally goes back and forth with. There are times I fucking hate him, and I think he's evil. He really was, in a lot of ways, our villain from season 1 in some ways. And just I'm sorry, I'm moving my, trying to get myself a little less washed up. It's to me, of all the characters we see, him and Kim, in a weird way, have shown the most progression because we see Jimmy and we know who Jimmy is, and the Saul's coming out more and more every episode. But where we see the end game, we know where he becomes Saul. It's easy to go, oh, those are Saul. Mike, I feel like we're even seeing Mike make some mistakes where we don't know Breaking Bad, seeing him get into this business. But ultimately, again, we know where he goes. Chuck is a multi-layered character, but ultimately Chuck's kind of easy to pinpoint where he's coming from too. Whereas Kim and Howard, I feel like, are so flexible and fun and so human, not characters. They're so human to the point where I've met people exactly like both of them.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And seeing their interactions, it's like, again, like Big J says, it's like mirroring real life, and those real life art situations. Again, it's so theater to me. It's so real life, David Mamet, that real intensified looks at real life theater orientation type stuff. I just can't get enough of the show, Joe. And I guess when I say I feel like I have to be critical and say, oh, this episode between this episode, that's because I don't know. I guess
you don't want to spend the whole time raving about
exactly. I feel like I need to point out, okay, maybe I feel like I wish I got a little bit of more in this episode, and I want to get that Mike story to come to a head. So
gush. Wonderful show. I love it. Gush.
I love all that Mike.
Me too, Joe. But ultimately, I feel like I guess I have to go there a little bit, but it's not nitpicky about anything. It's just I feel like, again, from listening to the Better Call Saul Insiders podcast, I feel like they're surrounded by a embarrassment of riches of stuff they want to do with this show. They were talking about the montage from last week's, And I didn't get a chance to hear your guys' thoughts of the montage from last week or last week's episode. But that montage, they've actually had similar things to that. Songs they've wanted to use, ideas that were in last week's episode that they wanted to do all last season. They wanted to do an episode 9 of last season in that big episode, but they kept running out of times and they've cut things. They said they have a big whiteboard with all these amazing thoughts of the things that they want to do with this show, and they don't know where they're going to put them. But
which montage?
Paperwork montage.
Yeah, him getting fired and the poop and all that sort of shit. So
I'm confused.
Okay, Phil, you're not glowing. Let's jump in the chat. Hey, ever since Tony Montana and Scarface, then I see the bad guy in a different way. Good point. Brown Sugar probably is a good guy, but he has to be a dick for business about Howard. Okay,
well, he's a guy. Good, bad. That's like people are not good or bad. Starkly, that's just the way people are.
And Joe, the montage I'm talking about, I was referring to separate things, but the montage I'm talking about, which to me was the best montage in the history of television, was last week when he's trying to get himself fired from. And it gets cut with him playing the bagpipes is at the end, but it gets him cut making juice. Them complaining about someone leaving their shit in the toilet. Someone left a duty in the toilet and didn't flush, and Jimmy goes, "Well, I did because I don't want to flush the toilets." And Begley
Water, hello,
environmentalism, hello, Ed Begley Jr. Come on, dude.
It was great that it was Ed Begley Jr. that he was saying that too.
Did I pass out?
You might have missed that scene. If not, Joe, check it out because it's one of the best parts of it. It was
classic. It was great. I didn't think I would have to say this to you people because we're adults, but
new number 2
I missed some shit.
Here we go, guys.
Yeah, no more lying down on the couch for you.
We got our first call of the day, guys, and you guys haven't had a chance to talk to him yet. But Katie and Joe, let me welcome to the show the wonderful, the awesome Big J. Welcome, Big J.
Hey, Big J.
Yo.
The family's back, huh?
Yeah, here we are, buddy. Good to hear from you.
I'm hurting, brother. You see my Met game the other night?
Oh God, dude, I'm sorry.
I got a little something against Kim for wearing that Royals jersey, man. One of the episodes, I forgot to mention that when I called you. How's your buddy Joe doing? He's back, I see, huh?
Doing good, thank you.
Yep, Joe made it through the storm.
Beautiful. I've been there, Joe. I've been there. Now that's the worst feeling in the world.
Yep.
Phil, thank you for throwing my name out there and get me in the conversation, buddy. I like I said, I love your show. You do a great job, and I'm glad Joe and Katie are back. And I gotta start watching another show to get back in to stay in this group. I just I'm kind of watching The Walking Dead a little bit now. I stopped watching. I watched 4 seasons, and now I'm getting a little bit back into that. I feel like it's basically the same story, but I have to watch the final episode.
Listen. Do yourself a favor.
And Joe hit it right on the
Game of Thrones.
The chemistry between Kim and Jimmy is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just when you see something like that, it's just you don't see that in the show, man, too often.
People in the chat are suggesting that you should watch Game of Thrones.
Oh, yes. Game of Thrones?
Yeah, that's what people
coming up.
Is that more like in the medieval times?
It is, but it's
similar.
a lot of real life interactions and human interactions and political interactions, especially at the beginning of the series. It does get some fantasy-ish if you don't like fantasy stuff.
Well, dragons.
Aspects of it, but there are enough at the beginning, some real life stuff. And
I'm a big Leftovers, the Leftovers guy.
Oh, cool.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Remember this too when watching Game of Thrones.
That scene when she was the little girl and then they played that drama music again and that's the way that in a well. That like was I had to watch that about 1 times.
Oh, and Big J, we have a couple messages from the chat room. KLC says, "Tell Big J to wait until next season before you watch the hour finale of The Walking."
Yes, don't do it.
Save yourself,
really? Or if you are gonna watch it,
unless
then watch it with Phil's alternate ending.
KLC, I respect his opinion, and he's the man.
Awesome.
Now, when you were saying Phil about real life, I say that for me because my sister is one of the biggest lawyers, a corporate lawyer. She runs the legal department of a big pharmaceutical company, and I graduated out of high school. My so like I can relate. My sister is to me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, same here.
My whole life. So real life for me, you know, and like I said, I worked mostly with my hands and you know, a few things here and there, but I did have like my stockbroker's license for a while, so there was a time when I actually worked on Wall Street in Manhattan with a bunch of yuppies type of people, you know, and you know, they were like, you know, you could see like they were looking down on me and they were making I've been there, man, and I tried to do things my own way. And, you know, it's just so for me, it's real life, you know, and
it's relatable.
Maybe can't identify with that, you know, but like you told me a lot about your life, that you went through similar stuff.
Yep. Yeah, with real estate and all those kind of things. And I think Katie and Job can both relate to that, knowing a little bit about their family situation.
Absolutely.
They both can relate to having siblings that maybe are in different worlds than them. And
Black sheep. Hello.
Yeah, no, Joe's siblings are not dreadlocked, and Katie has
my sister with her 5,000 master degrees.
Oh, it works for you, brother. It works, man. I told you, I think under those dreadlocks, he really is Kevin Costner.
Wait.
I'll take that for sure.
Yeah, holy shit.
Have you been lying to me all these years?
The three do great together.
But, thank you, buddy.
I enjoyed it. I don't know where we're going. Like I said, I don't know. I listen. And I've also been in the street side of things too, and I don't know what the hell Mike is doing. I don't know. I mean, we all know that he makes it through, and we know that Hector makes it through. I'm saying that he probably is the one. I have a feeling this is just prediction. I think Mike's daughter-in-law is going to get killed. I think that the one that puts Hector in the wheelchair.
Ooh, very.
But they're going real slow with that. It's going to be like a big bomb. You can tell something big is going to happen there. And
something's coming.
Because it's like two different storylines, you know.
Yeah, me too.
You got the art. You got the great acting the great chemistry between Tim and Jimmy, and then you got a little bit of taste of that action stuff and the street stuff with Mike, and that that keeps you interested too. I love the way they started the show and just showing the guy driving.
Yeah.
Regular life. Like, you don't have to see, you know what I mean? It just looks so real like that.
Absolutely.
You don't threaten Mike's granddaughter and daughter-in-law and expect this guy and we don't expect Mike not to like do his diligence and take precautions and take steps.
Well, that's how I feel too. Like, I heard somebody else talking about it saying, oh, well, they gave him the money. That don't mean nothing, man.
No, dude, they threatened them.
Granddaughter in the pool. He ain't going for that, man.
Yeah,
no, that's not too far.
It's we give you the money now. We wait a couple of weeks, and then we do what we need to do.
I think he's got a bigger plan down the road. I think that something Mike's the kind of guy that, even though it's like, he wouldn't make that kind of mistake. He showed that anger in the diner, like when Hector sat down with him, like, I screwed up. But I think in his heart of hearts, he didn't go out to New Mexico and, just to become a parking attendant. He knew he sent his daughter-in-law out there with the kid. He's got something else planned. He's listen, I mean, that's the way I look at it. And he wasn't a straight cop. He was a cop on a take. So the guy, he's got class. I mean, he's got honor, but he's also a thief. He's an honor among thief kind of guy. And, so I think that, there was always a plan with Mike in the background.
Well said, Big J. Well said, my friend.
I'm going to listen to the show. If I could call back later on again, maybe before you guys are done.
Awesome, buddy.
Joe and Katie, it was a pleasure.
We will.
And just remember, man.
Yeah, call back.
Wanted was his rug back, man.
all the dude ever wanted. Thank you, Big J. All the dude ever wanted was his rug back, dude. Rug pissers. They piss on the dude's rug.
Paid on the rug.
I think it's important though, or it's fun that Big J brings that up though, or brings up Big Lebowski, because I joke about this a lot or mention this a lot, but I do think Vince Gilligan and the Coens, the way they shoot things are very similar. I consider Vince Gilligan.
Oh, there's influence.
Oh yeah.
They're definitely, and you can get the feeling from Vince Gilligan when he talks that he's probably influenced by everybody and just likes good shit. And all that good shit, I'm just a regular down to earth guy. Vince Gilligan in the most recent podcast was making fun of this person on the set that is like this genius. Not making fun, goes, you're probably so smart you didn't have any friends growing up. He's that kind of guy that
actually I didn't have any friends.
That's what the girl said. She goes, actually not. This is the first group of friends I've had. He goes, oh, I'm sorry.
You prick.
You fucking prick. that's the attitude that they all have on set with each other. They're very fucking with each other. They're very, let's get smart, but not get too smart. And that's Vince Gilligan's whole thing. I want to say something, but I don't want to fucking get too smart about it. And
he's working a balance between that like deep artsy thing and just straight up like, this is what is happening, people.
Absolutely. Let's jump in the chat before we get into it. Tom says, love this channel. I'm not going to spit on you. Game of Thrones has too many seasons for me to catch up. Welcome, Tom.
Oh, never too many.
Hey, Tom. Tom is in Brazil.
Never too many.
We don't go with Better Call Saul, so I'm going to download it now that The Walking Dead is over so I can keep hanging with you guys.
It's 50 hours. You will repeat over and over. You're like,
you'll say this isn't
hours
enough
of television. I can't watch that, and then you'll finish it, and you'll be like, I'm watching that shit again. You might even get halfway through it and be like, you know what?
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that show to.
That's the way this series is shaping up to actually be.
Yeah, the rug really tied the room together. The gun in the line. It really did tie the room together. So let's get into it. I'm good, and we have a voicemail I'm going to play a little bit later from KLC. I'm looking forward to playing. But let's get a little bit into our recap. So at the beginning of our episode, it's basically starts off in this very beautiful, visual, amazing, voluptuous TV show, huge with so many colors and pushing things popping out of this spot. And they just use colors so great to just paint yellows, greens, purples. They just become so important to the show of those specific colors. And then so many other colors end up getting there and they convey so much emotion. Now, this episode, which is directed by the same person that directed Bingo last year, and has worked on a couple on the show The Americans, which I haven't watched yet, but it's one of a couple of people say it's one of the better shows on right now. And that's another thing I want to mention about a lot of
which
the staff.
episode was Bingo?
Bingo.
Jimmy was running the bingo game, calling the numbers.
Yeah, at the old folks' homes.
Yeah,
the big line. Okay, before KLC has to go, let's play KLC's voicemail.
Don't go.
Let's listen.
Call out of work.
Who needs money?
Hey, it's me, KLC, and I won't be able to make it to the show later on today, so I just wanted to leave this voice message to leave my thoughts.
Do it.
And
do it.
Similarly to last year, I was not that impressed with it. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't a bad show per se. I just feel like it was too slow paced, and ultimately, I feel like if this episode and last week's episode were combined, it's been much stronger. And people keep saying that Better Call Saul shouldn't be Breaking Bad, and I completely agree with that. I personally think that Better Call Saul is moving at about the speed Breaking Bad moves at. But I also believe that Better Call Saul is a show that benefits from high energy. Just whenever Better Call Saul is moving fast, with those hilarious montages and just all types of fantasy scenes, I think that it's hilarious. So that's pretty much all I thought about this episode. It was okay. If I was going to give it an arbitrary score, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Next week is episode 9, and last year that was kind of the big episode of the season on the Game of Thrones route. So I'm going to predict that Hector is going to get paralyzed somehow due to doing something.
Okay, I just want to pause on this. I want to point out the fact that Big J and KLC, who both have a lot of respect for each other, are thinking the same exact thing in the situation. Like, I'll be responsible for Hector's being paralyzed, which I gotta admit, I think we're all kind of going there in our mind. Yeah, I think we're all kind of going there in our minds. And whether he's responsible or indirectly responsible, Mike, and like Joe was mentioning earlier, when Big J was on the line, Mike is not gonna let this go. And Mike is going to fuck with these people, and there's got to be a reason why he eventually goes to Gus, because there's very few people on Earth that can protect him from Hector, and Gus is one of them. So, because Gus isn't going to take any of Hector's shit, and if Mike is valuable to him, he's going to tell you to go fuck yourself, and he's going to protect Mike for him. So, I think somehow all of this is leading to, obviously, because we know it gets there, but I think this is all leading to him somehow. Gus is someone that searches information out. He looked in science schools, in colleges, to try to find chemists and stuff to work on it. to work on things. He's looking in the criminal environment. He's probably going to somehow learn about what Mike does to fucked up Hector's trade of everything that was going on with the trucks and stuff, and is going to seek out Mike's help for further employment.
Yeah,
season 3.
At this point, I don't think Mike necessarily has a plan other than get to know your enemy.
Yeah.
Because he's smart like that. He's not impulsive. He doesn't usually jump into things and just do it without knowing, like other shows.
No, he's on reconnaissance.
Just do shit without knowing what he's getting into. He is informing himself in every way, shape, and form about these people and what he can use against them eventually.
See, that really shows this episode with all the hours he spent watching the preparation.
But I also want to point out that I agree with everything you guys said, but I think by the end of this episode, he has a plan.
Oh, yeah.
I think whatever he's MacGyvering with that thing where I think there's people say they're not sure what's going on with that. I think that's to lay across a highway or lay across the road where he's seen so they can pop the tires of the truck so he can rob whatever they're bringing in so he can see what they're bringing in so he can learn what his enemy has under his.
He's formulating.
It's a road spike.
Know what's in the box. What he wants to know what's in the box, Joe. What's in the box?
What's in the box? I think he knows what's in the box.
Well, I mean, it's only one of a few possibilities.
I think he wants to set some shit off. That's what I think he wants to do. I think whatever attention is on him because of the nephew and because of the threats made back and forth and all that shit, I think there's a lot of attention on him. And at some point, you don't threaten guys like that and then and extort money out of them, more money than they wanted to give you, and expect that in 3 or 4 months when shit blows over with the nephew, you're not going to end up dead. Your niece isn't going to end up dead and shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, and just for the record, Lola and Tim, I'm definitely add me to that club too, guys, and the chat. So yeah, so we get to see at the very beginning of it where there's this rise up and drift. Oh, yeah, that's a great club to join. Coming up from the U.S.-Mexico border. We were talking about this last night in the group in the Discord chat server. That I think I mentioned this earlier too. This was very Breaking Bad. This intro. This was hugely. This was, oh, by the way, this is the same filmmakers that make Breaking Bad. You remember those awesome scenes you liked there? Let's give you a little bit of that and that little slice of heaven that they fed us. And again, that's one of the.
I loved it. I was on the edge of my seat for it. It was so tense.
It's like that quiet intensity.
Felt like I was watching a fucking movie.
Like they do it wonderfully. And I wanted to address what KLC said. I can understand his issue with it goes slow, and some people have difficulty with that regardless, but I just think this show, it does it in such a way that even though it's slow, it's this intense, heavy, slow, quiet situation that just, it really rivets me.
It has a great way of making you feel the tension in the mundane aspects of life.
100%.
Like the slow doesn't feel slow. I feel like the episode ends way too quickly and I don't, what? How did that happen?
Before
everything is so tense. Everything, just all that mundane shit that they end up going through. Like
it's so emotionally evocative.
Yep.
And again, I compare it a lot to the show. I mentioned it, True Detective season 1. It reminds me a lot of that similar feel to it. But before we go further, I just want to say, because the KLC is leaving, huge congratulations to KLC. He was a part of. They have him out here too. The 48-hour film competition. Like I think in 48 hours, you have to get actors, write a movie, direct a movie, all together. So congratulations! It's gonna be really awesome. You get to watch that movie on tonight on a screen. If it ever gets anywhere online, please share it in the group. I think a lot of people will
please, yes,
to see it. Also want to send a huge congratulations to The Walking David, who a lot of you guys know. One of his screenplays won some Los Angeles award, and he a lot of good things happening. And Suburbia Pictures as well, doing a lot of awesome stuff in filmmaking. So we got 3 of our very own out there making some films, and huge congratulations to
blessings.
All 3 of them.
Woo!
So okay. And always feel like if any of you guys in the FOPs or any of our friends out there that are into making some art too, always feel free. You guys can share.
Post that shit.
Yeah, post.
Oh, we are so supportive of such things.
Yeah, we want to see it. We want to see it and love it. So
I might not go searching for that stuff, but when it's posted by people I know in groups like on Facebook or in Google Plus or linked in this shit, like that's where I end up watching it.
Please share that stuff, because again, that's where you get these great moments like we're seeing in Better Call Saul. So let's get back to Better Call Saul.
Please share.
The camera finally settles in on a driver, a man who kind of has a salt and pepper thing going on, gives a feeling like he has experience. He's been doing this a lot. It's whatever. Now, what you were thinking, Joe, it's like a steady cam shot the whole time. And then,
is it one constant shot?
I think so.
No
I don't think it's one constant shot, but it's very close.
It's how it fell.
I think from the moment it comes in, at least from this moment when it's following the police car in through the parking lot, the police car ends up going one way. The camera goes into the garage bay, around the back of the trucks, up to where the guy's getting all this shit done. I think it really is one long continuous shot during that whole music, until he leaves or takes the popsicle out of the box.
It was really awesome. And Sam, I'm trying to find it in the group yesterday. Sam said something about what the thing on the truck means. It means frozen gift. What the name you see on the truck, the frozen popsicle sticks. It was frozen gift is what it says. So it just seems like this show every week gets more and more balls and more confident to just tell the story that they want to tell you. Again, that's the thing about whether it's slow, fat, whatever. It's telling you a story that I have more than okay. Again, I don't want to talk about other AMC shows. We're not going to get into a thing like that. But some shows, you feel like they're doing the Lost thing where they don't know where they're going. And I feel like what makes Lost Season 1 so good is from beginning to end to the Hatch thing, we feel like we have a direction. I feel like Call Saul, for all of what it's worth, for the 2 seasons right now that they know they have a 3rd season, whether I feel like they're getting to their place as quick as, I can understand some people might feel like they're not getting there. I feel like I don't want them to. Whatever.
No, I am loving the journey.
But that's a taste thing. But ultimately, I feel like where they're going, they know where they're going, and
we do too.
And they're getting there with purpose. No, I feel like
them every step of the fucking way.
Exactly.
Well, I don't think we know like what will be the deciding factors and motivations and like how it will culminate into the ending of the show or anything, but I feel like we know where his story goes until at least the point that Breaking Bad ends. Into those black and white scenes that they give us that are post Breaking Bad, which are amazing. And again, they're very slow. They're the mundane moments of his life, thought moment, like
we're in his
locked
head,
in the trash
essentially at that
room
point.
And shit. Like,
this is dull. This is black and white.
Right. I love it.
Gray. It sucks. Life is
it's
awful
those
and
theatrical
slow
moments
and droning along.
that you were talking about, Phil. Those theater moments.
It's
love
just.
it.
Oh, sorry, Katie. Go.
No, just love it.
Just love it. Okay. Just love it. Okay, everybody. That's our review of the rest of Better Call Saul season. We just love it. But it's just a relentlessly clever episode. Yes. I mean, you might be
relentlessly. I like it.
You might think that other shows that try to do things like this, they can't get away with it. Again, Better Call Saul does it. True Detective couldn't even get away with it for 2 seasons.
Oh my goodness, no, they lost it.
They couldn't keep up with that. And to me, you can be slow if you're interesting constantly. And this show to me is interesting constantly. And it's, again, we repeating ourselves, but ultimately it's to hammer in what Joe said and repeat it, because I agree with it. I cannot agree with it enough. The examples of the mundane, and then to go with Big J says, these parallel relationships that we see in life that some of us can relate to, some of us can't, depending on your upbringing. But the people that can relate to it, it's hugely believable. The boss employee relationship of Kim and Howard and Kim's whole arc, and then if we get into the Chuck and the Jimmy and Jimmy's struggle to try to fit in and be himself, and seeing Jimmy be Saul and how releasing, doing all the stuff he's doing today with
he just can't help himself but be Saul.
He's so good at it with the fake with the soldier guy, the whole it was just, to me, the highlight of the episode.
Amazing.
Subtle,
jeez.
He's just some guy got off masturbation charges. He said, don't worry about that.
It's all bullshit, I tell you.
all
Japan.
fucking bullshit.
I fought in Japan.
This machine was flown over the fucking Pacific.
So he actually is a veteran. They just didn't bother to find that.
So he's got all these soldiers posing with an old man who likes to masturbate in public.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's not good. But and that's where Jimmy's great in the moment, but he doesn't always like a lot of con men, depending if you're Sawyer and thinking the long game, or if you're Jimmy doesn't think the long game. Jimmy's like a con man moment to moment. How can I get through each individual situation? He's not usually playing the long game for the most part, at least in my because I don't think any of his conning at this point, anyways, or ever really to the point of we know him, is ever malicious. He's not a malicious con man. He's not trying to fuck people out of money. He's just trying to live life his way and ultimately get to the point where by living life by his rules, he can be as successful as he possibly can.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything malicious in Jimmy.
No, I think his thing is, and like we saw in that flashback of him at the store with his father, it's just if you don't fuck people, you're gonna get fucked.
Yeah, and just,
that's it. He's just trying not to get conned.
Even with
he's being a con.
Even with the one scene where we kind of see him getting a little malicious with, or the two scenes when he's with Kim and they con the guy with the tequila and they con the guy out of a check. They're not going to cash the check, so there's no harm there. The tequila, this guy spent a shitload of money on this tequila.
He had fun.
But like, if Jimmy was a guy with money, this guy was trying to con Jimmy. So
right. And that's
no harm, no foul. That's almost like Robin Hood.
It's almost like,
you know what I mean? It's more like Robin Hood than the Punisher. Okay, nobody ended up dead.
He's not.
You know, like he robbed a rich guy and he gave it to a poor guy.
I just have Daredevil on the mind.
Understandably, it's a
wonder
good
why.
show.
Yeah, it's good. Joe does too. And people that are asking, that will still happen. Probably maybe an upcoming Saturday night, either this Saturday or next Saturday. We'll do some Daredevil. So here we go. They talk about how to pinch pennies to wrangle in some clients. The two of them sit down and talk. Let's listen to a little bit of this.
And establishment. This requires a proper celebration, so don't think that this counts.
This is perfect. Aside,
Need to get themselves a
pennies now. We have a steady revenue stream. Make the
bag of Long Island wine to celebrate.
Yes, that. Let's make that happen.
What's interesting in this scene, and I mean, I can play all the dialogue and stuff. What's interesting in the scene between Jim and Kimmy here, Jimmy and Kimmy, is that he knows what Howard is going to do right from the beginning. Yep. He's advising her all these sorts of things. He's almost trying to give her a shortcut to the situation because he already knows how it's all going to end.
That's how it works.
A lawyer is a con, and that's what a con would do.
And not just that, like when you leave a business, like to try to strike out on your own, what are you going to do? You're going to call all the people that are clients of that business and try to talk them into coming with you. Mm-hmm. That's how you need to make contacts. You need to sell yourself. You need to sell yourself to the people that already know the work that you do from where you were doing it. Yep. And that's a common theme in a lot of movies, like and shit.
Business.
It's business. And Jimmy knows that that's business, and that's exactly what happens as soon as she walks out of the office. Get me Mesa Verde. I need to make sure they don't leave with her.
And let's listen to the.
It's not personal.
That's
He's
a lot
not
of
trying
money.
to maliciously take away her client. That's just what it is. It's just,
and it's not her client ultimately.
Correct. It's not.
No. It's not her client.
She should have waited.
She would be trying to take their
and what
client
she's doing
away.
is highly illegal if she signed any non-compete client, and she's straight up soliciting a client that she already brought to a different company.
Correct.
Sorry, but that's fucking illegal. That's not worse than what Jimmy would do, because Jimmy would do it in a way that was less direct. You're directly fucking breaking protocol. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be hard on Kim, but she is in that situation. She had to have signed a non-compete contract to work with this company. Every company in the world has you sign.
It might not be the same with lawyers because you go from firm to firm, and to be able to be a lawyer with a license and everything, and to be like, okay, if you work for us, you can't work for any other lawyer for the next 2 years.
That's the chat room because we do have a legal correspondent in there. Soliciting a client is immoral regardless.
It is. I agree.
So
immoral, maybe not illegal.
Yeah, well, the law has very little to do with morality at this point.
Very good point. Very good point, Katie. Let's listen to Howard and Kim.
Sure. Thanks for meeting with me. I only need a few minutes.
Great. What's up?
Howard.
I think we've all been in this boss situation too. Where you have to
he
talk
doesn't want to bring her in the office. What an asshole.
because he doesn't realize it's so serious.
Oh, he knows it is.
Please.
He's just pissed. He's hurt and betrayed.
Let's talk.
He's leaving
Yeah.
because of what I did.
Again, thanks for taking the time.
You can just go ahead and rip off the Band-Aid. I have a pretty good idea why you're here.
Because he thinks she's going to take the job with the other company here.
Yeah. He thinks he's going to go the conventional route that every other lawyer would.
Mm-hmm. But ultimately,
Like he
no.
did.
She tells him that she wants to start her own firm through this whole.
Oh, you're going with Schweiger and Coakley.
I love the looks on his face.
I heard.
This guy doesn't.
Through the grapevine.
I'm not going to another firm. I'm
Mm-mm.
starting my own.
Mm-mm.
I figured I'd try giving it a go as a solo practitioner.
Oh.
The smile he gets on his
Wow.
face in this scene is
He's
incredible.
much happier.
He's like, oh,
Now he's glad they're sitting down in their
wow.
office.
Yeah, wow. He goes, wow.
I realized it was something I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
The week Jimmy exits Davis in Maine, you decide to leave us?
Mm.
That can't just be happenstance.
Mm-mm.
It's not.
Me
Happenstance.
We're
neither,
going to be
Tom.
sharing expenses. One office, but two separate.
You mean Jimmy's paying your shit? And okay, ultimately this scene leads up to she offers to pay back, to use Jimmy's money to pay back her student loans. The 15 she owes still for her loans, or is it 50? It's either 15 or 50, whatever.
Probably more like 50.
Yeah, 50.
Because I think she's been working there enough to be
That's
paid
too
off
much.
most of it. Because she
Yeah,
said
it was probably hundreds of thousands.
it was, but at this point I think it's only like 15 grand left.
50.
So he said she offers him the money, and he says no, I don't want it.
And if she was going to that other firm, he would have said okay.
Oh yeah.
He would have taken it because
Oh,
he
yeah.
knows it would have been coming
Well,
from them.
I think
He
he
would have just
feels-
taken over the price. What was that, Katie?
I think he like his whole change in demeanor and attitude. I think he's proud and he's also happy because he
Yes.
knows she's a good lawyer.
Yes.
And so like this kind of means that she's not really in competition with him or his firm.
He went from being hurt and jealous to being happy and proud
envious.
and like, you know, this part of the reason why she has the confidence and the ability to do this is because she worked here and we fostered this and I pushed her for this. Fuck me for being an asshole and pushing her out the door.
Exactly. And oh shit, I gotta have to tell Chuck about this. But it doesn't become a problem until she runs
I'm
till
grateful for everything you and the firm have
she
done
gets
for me,
into that.
especially
I'm
the
grateful for
financial
you.
help with my school.
But then, as Joe mentioned at the beginning half of the scene, once she leaves the office, we hear Howard in the background saying, that's to his secretary, call Mesa Verde right now. I need to talk to them. So Kim runs, which is a really fun, awesome scene where we see Kim.
She walks out of the office.
She eventually runs, and then she runs to the next office, and it's really just fun
Great.
watching her sprint across
And
the office,
Kevin too?
seeing and get into it. And then
Good.
she gets on the phone
Well,
and she starts
Before
calling
we
people.
meet, there's some news you need to know about.
And then she ends up having a meeting with them and tries to talk to them to give them to bring the case to her that the suit thing. I'm a good
I
suit.
always think about Cliffhanger when I see this guy, just his bad FBI role.
See, I think about CSI Miami, his bad detective role.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
It's not often that we have a bigger actor like this on Better Call Saul for a bit part, though. It was interesting to see him.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
this guy's been in it so much and in a lot of stuff.
That guy in that thing there.
Yeah, he's one of those. I could never tell you this guy's name, but I could tell you 100 things he's been in.
So Kim's in there, and I also want to point out, I saw this in an article. Kim's wearing purple, the color of royalty, of piety, of penance, vanity, inside oranges or whatever. Just different weird color uses.
Are
And
we-
he's got this color? What?
Color
We're-
therapy.
Analyzing all their wardrobe colors now, is that like a thing? Did they
It's
Well,
intentional.
I think it's
You
part
think
of
it-
all of it. Yes, that's part of what the genius of this show is, that they play with things like colors and light and stuff like that.
It's all part of it.
It's how they tell the story. And
And
it's
again, listening to them talk about it, they very much take into account everything like that.
Awesome.
That's subtle ways of being intelligent without having to shove it up your face, is having characters in different colors depending on the moods that they're trying to express within and no one does it better than Vince. He did it awesome on the X-Files and the episodes he directed. He does it awesome on Breaking Bad, and he does it exceptional. I think his team is at an all-time talent level that when there are other people out there that say, "Oh,
they're above and beyond."
Yeah, they have they have an understanding of psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And the depths that they can use to manipulate essentially their audience into really following this and relating and connecting.
One of the big differences.
One quick thing in the chat. We have so many friends in the chat right now, and I think almost every person talking in the motherfucking chat right now is in a different time zone. They're all from all over the fucking. Sorry, am I late? Do we love AMC again? Yes, right now.
Well,
AMC is awesome. We should call them.
We should totally call them and tell them how awesome their show is right now. We should totally.
to get back to what you were saying, Phil, for what it's worth, like that's one of the big differences between this and why this is so good and Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones has source material, shit that's written and brilliant, and they chose it and they were like, this is what we're going to do a film on, and we have everything basically laid out for us. This is creating its own shit as it goes, and it's doing it amazingly and telling it in a way that's seldom been done, and they're creating this this level of art form for the TV media that exactly it's above and beyond what everybody else is doing on network TV or basic cable. It's really brilliant. It really is. It's
so we got a call again from Big J. How's it going, Big J?
How you doing, Phil? When you guys I just wanted to mention because as you're talking about the scenes, this episode to me is as much as a dick is a fucking dick that Howard could be. Because I'm watching you on hand and you're a little bit ahead, but as big as a dick as Howard is, he was kind of human. You know how like they went back with Jimmy when he was young. You got a little bit of taste of Howard's like how he got there. Like obviously he was like, you know, Tim, I had that dream. He goes like, I wanted to.
He was pushed into his life.
And I also think it's interesting.
You can see he had dreams like she did at one point, and he kind of felt that, but you can see his father was probably that real corporate jerk.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, get your name on this fucking thing. You know what I mean?
And I love how he went to Chuck later in the episode too, when he screwed up and he knew that his being a dick or in that situation being too much like his dad, if we're going down that road, like you were saying, being like that pushed Kim away to the point that they're actually going to lose business, and he disappointed Chuck. He runs so innocently like a boy that just pissed off a bully and goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Chuck. We lost the client. Will you save my ass here, Chuck? We need to get the client back." Yeah. I just thought that was so interesting too, and it just shows again how awesome the actor that's playing Howard is playing that, how full of a real human he is, because it's just so many real human moments.
Before you go, Big J, can you?
A great actor, and man, Michael McKean, man, I tell you what, a scene.
Oh, amazing!
In that conference, how we stole back the client. I mean, that was like
beautiful.
Before you go, Big J, I think Joe has a question for you.
Can you say something for me once? Say forget about it for me just once.
He wants you to say forget about it.
Just once.
Oh, forget about it.
Nice.
It's still awesome.
Authentic.
See the movie John Gotti?
Oh yeah.
And Bosco.
He says, we want to make a deal. He's like, there's no deals, no fucking deals. I'll do 100 years standing on my head.
Forget about it.
That's one of my favorite New York.
Thank
New
you.
York,
beautiful. Thank you.
I tell you before you guys.
Thanks, Big J.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I tell you, man, I've been out to Cali a few times. My cousin lives in LA, and when I go out there, when I talk, people just look at me. But
oh yeah.
Okay, now,
dude.
But I tell you, man, I love to fucking go to New Mexico, man. After watching
it's beautiful.
A new show, like you guys are talking about all the colors and stuff. That looks like a cool place to have a couple scotches and a couple beers, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
I've been a lot of chat love as always. Tom himself.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Hey, Phil, give my love to Sam too, because I see her always saying Big J this and Big J that. She's a sweetheart, that girl. Too.
Awesome. Yeah, she is. Lots of love from her. Lots of love to you, Big J. Take care of yourself, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Phil, you never did tell me before I hang up. Who the fuck are the Knutsons?
Yeah, who the fuck are the Knutsons? I don't know.
Favorite line of the movie. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Love that shit. Who the fuck are that? I gotta say to Big J, same thing out from us when we were in Boston. when we go, whenever I go other places in the country, my Boston accent's enhanced. I'm like, dude, I don't know, dude.
Oh, people love it. Yeah.
Fucking my bros with Chuck. So in this scene, Chuck keeps shifting you off fucking balance. No, but it's really good to see everything that they're doing with Howard, just to go on that. And lots of love from the chat to you.
New York is Boston's sister city.
Yep, Big J, what a fucking dope name. Props to him, says Tom. Sam says, oh, thanks, Big J. Really appreciate the love. Lots of love to from everybody in the chat room to you, Big J. Thank you so much for calling us and sharing your thoughts on the Better Call Saul podcast. So here we go.
I just want to say, New Mexico is beautiful. I've had the pleasure of going to Santa Fe, and I would live there in a heartbeat.
Oh, it really is
Great
beautiful.
place. And this show just really shows it off. Amazing.
Never been.
So it is really beautiful stuff. And I've been to New Mexico and Arizona, and I know they're two completely different places, but both places.
I've flown over them to get to Vegas.
Yeah, but you bet you've seen it in Vegas a little bit if you go outside of the Strip.
Desert. Yeah.
The desert area.
Desert.
Okay, so Joe's like, I don't know if I've ever been outside.
I mean, I'll go to Vegas. I'll fly over it to go to Vegas. Let's do it.
You mean Nevada, Phil, not Vegas. That's a different
no. I mean Vegas.
You mean what I'm talking about. I'm talking about.
Right.
There's more state around Vegas.
There's what's Nevada?
Went to her office to pay to phone Paige, whose husband contacts Mesa Verde. They go for lunch. Jimmy finds an old dental practice that they want to convert to a shared office. For
great
him.
office. Yeah.
Kim enters and we see a refracted ceiling, a nice everything reflecting down. The office also has a mirror layout, so Jimmy and Kim are, bouncing off on either side. So HHM can't afford to lose Mesa Verde. Well, I mean, they're a major firm. They can, but this was a big business thing that Howard was bringing to Chuck, and Chuck was already doing all the business work. So Howard visits Chuck in a very awesome scene with Howard and Chuck, that trying to explain to him and be very sorry for everything he's caused. Let's listen to a little bit of Chuck and Howard.
Yeah, the shameful boy talking to dad.
It's funny.
Love it.
So the door's open.
His dad's business partner.
Yeah, but now he's dead.
Hey, Big Cav. Welcome, buddy.
It's me, Chuck.
Oh, hey, Howard, is Ernesto with you?
No, it's just me.
Why isn't he with you?
I don't care. Why isn't Ernesto with you?
Expected a round of documents an hour ago. We've got a filing coming up.
I know, Chuck.
Yeah, no.
Very possible. It's likely that we're losing Mesa Verde.
What?
Losing them. We just
got them.
And I think
Why?
Big Kev said it too. Amazingly exceptional episode by Michael McKean. We haven't seen him in a while, and he is just so fucking good on this show. I was reading a Reddit AMA from Michael McKean this week, and he says that realistically, he was very honest in it. If you're curious of it, it's very easy to find. It's in the Better Call Saul subreddit. You can read it. Very awesome one. He was I've never heard someone be this honest. And they asked who his favorite role ever, and he said David St. Hubbins from Spinal Tap. But Chuck is rising
close second
right now. Wasn't before, but especially going into season 2. This was right before season 2, and knowing some of the stuff he was going to do in the turnaround, he goes, Chuck is quickly rising on it, and he's just such a good actor, and the show is super lucky to have cast him, and they seeked him out because Vince Gilligan sought him out because Vince Gilligan had worked with him on an X-Files episode. So you knew his level of talent and knew how he could break out of it comedically.
And has seen probably everything he's done.
Yep. Especially
he's an icon at this point anyway.
Especially Short Circuit too, which Vince Gilligan makes fun of him at one point in time about, which, Michael McKean considers one of his hardest performances ever because he had to loop every line because of things to do with the robot. But he says, I love that Johnny Five. He's a great guy. Okay, so
they're going with Kim Wexler. She left the firm.
Kim left.
And the look Chuck gives him, you're all Howard. Oh, Howard.
Where's she going? Is it Rich Schweikert? Or did Reeves and Green get her?
No. Not another firm. She's going into private practice.
What?
Someone says McGill Bowl confirmed season 3.
Well, that's completely. How is she going out on her own?
Wow. The audio in this is interesting. I keep hearing a tick, tick, tick when I'm playing it. You can hear the tick, tick of the clock in the background of the scene.
Why is she going out on her own?
Well, the why is the why. The how is that she's pooling her resources.
With
With, yeah, who's who? Wait for it. Wait for it.
Kim and my brother.
Jimmy.
Partners-in-law.
The look on Chuck's face, it's almost as good as him in the boardroom when Jimmy's talking. Just this sickening. And someone pointed this out, and I have in some stray notes that we're going to get to.
He must crush.
He must
Jimmy.
crush him. The way he throws his shirt off is like a superhero. He goes, I'm
I'm coming.
Yeah, I think that's how he feels about it at this point. Everyone that Jimmy gets involved with, Chuck sees as a victim that needs to be saved.
Yep.
And he's extremely disappointed in Kim, I think, because he thought she would be smarter than to be pulled in by Jimmy.
He thought the conversation that they had together was good enough. That when he was relating to her and trying to charm her in his own Chuck way. But in this situation, Chuck realizes that he needs to throw off the moon coat and put on the Chuck mask one more time and save the day. Like dun 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 dun.
Force of will.
Yes,
well, unfortunately, what his speech and talk did to Kim was make her realize that Jimmy was right. You can't make Jimmy be somebody else. Jimmy is Jimmy. Foster that, love it, work with it, work around it, but no, you're not going to change it.
You can't change it.
Like to the point where like it's such an influence in his life that, you know, his father was ruined over it.
Okay, I'm going to try to do this because Lo in the chat room typed it out. I'm going to try to speak in Polish.
Jeez.
Tristasin I Shachlamichtach Tigo Skilling.
Check the Brazin.
Yeah.
Check Brazin, check out me.
Keep going.
Tego Slin.
Katie?
Sliny.
Katie, come on, Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy. Do it, Katie.
Caw!
Yeah, caw. We apologize to the entire country of Poland, by the way.
To everybody.
Yeah, I don't want to offend anyone.
We sound like
I'm just gonna leave it
sound like
there.
Joey speaking French.
Oh my, I do the
I am French. How come we don't even have a language, Joe? We just keep speaking in these stupid accents. Sorry, guys. I don't know why.
I don't know why I was talking like that.
I apologize to you, Lola, and I apologize to everybody who's
sorry, Poland.
Sorry, Poland. So, okay, so Jimmy turns the tables again. So Chuck in this whole situation happens, and you tend to
Latu Virata necktie. I can say that.
You tend to ramble on. He pulls a Ronald Reagan painting. His adversary, young and experienced, Chuck wins. Okay, so here we go. So Chuck tells Mesa Verde that Kim is their future. I think I have it on audio here. Where's Chuck? Chuck doing his thing. Here we go.
McGill. Chuck. Pleasure. Kevin. Paige.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, and he went there without a suit on. He's going to not have the phones.
No big potato suit.
Yep. I'm guessing you've already had to suffer through Howard's hard sell first time around, so you've done your time as far as I'm concerned.
Hard sell. It was enthusiasm. I gave them cookies.
Cookies were good, as I recall.
No, I'm here to put your minds at ease. Kim Wexler is indeed the right choice to handle Mesa Verde.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
She's the obvious choice.
The obvious choice.
He is the such a con.
She sees this too. She's sitting across the table from him, going, "Oh, this sly motherfucker."
Yep.
She reads it like no problem.
The wife, the one that loves Kim.
Yep. And this guy just eats it up, asshole.
Yeah. Perfectly done by Chuck. Perfectly done.
Oh, Howard's
slick.
got such a
So
hard on
slippery.
watching
Slippery
Chuck work.
Slippery Chuck.
Banking law
Yeah.
to be exciting.
And awesome job, Kim. Tim in the chat. Tim is translating Polish in there for the people in the audience.
Oh, Google Translate works well, huh, Tim?
I know some people might be watching Better Call Saul. So get back to more Better Call Saul talk. So we'll continue this. But if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. Jump in the live chat with us live when we do these podcasts, because you get to talk to some of the most awesome people from around the world, not just from so many different places, sharing so many different thoughts about these episodes and just shooting the shit and and having fun. So thank you to everybody in the chat for keeping me laughing during this show. I can't help but turn and read everything you guys are writing. It's just hilarious shit going on in the chat right now. And,
I get lost in the chat. I forget, I'm supposed to be talking and stuff.
Really wake it up. Let me tell you how boring I am. I read FEC and ISO reports for entertainment.
He does. I can attest to that.
I seen it.
I try to stay up on things. The rules are changing. With everything that's happened with Enron and WorldCom, the government is extra vigilant. These days, the penalties for even the most honest of errors can be devastating. Sharp, young eye to catch that stuff.
Perfectly said, Lily of the Fox Valley. Chuck hates Jimmy so much that he endures this pain that he really feels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Specialized in this kind of work for decades on end, you tend to get kind of stale. You get stale. You forget it.
And Edward adds, this was an opportunity for Chuck to out Jimmy, and he pounced on it.
So much.
I don't know. The community reinvestment.
Good job.
Any bank such as Mesa Verde looking to open a de novo branch is definitely going to need to show a healthy portfolio of CRA compliance. Obviously.
And Kim can do that.
Covered, I'm sure.
Because we trained her.
She knows this. She knows this.
Branching Efficiency Act. There's another mouthful, huh?
Oh, big deal. So he knows the names of laws and acts. Oh my God. No shit. That's what the lawyers, that's why you're hiring them. Like, are you fucking kidding? Like I understand we're supposed to be in awe of what Chuck is doing here, but like, I'm with the wife sitting there and looking and like, I don't know. At first I was like, oh, she's buying it too. And then I was like, no, she's really not buying it at all.
That guy's wife? I thought they
were just like another worker too. But Phil said wife, so I was going with it.
I honestly don't know. I'm
so the other woman. So, but I'm thinking like, when you sit down to do this work, the work that we've hired you to do, of course, those are the things that are on your mind, not on ours. Of course, we might not know that shit. That's why we're hiring Kim Wexler.
Yeah.
Hello.
She's young. She can take on all of that overwhelming work.
You need a young person like this. But ultimately, this scene does, as much as Chuck tries to out Jimmy, Jimmy eventually brings in Saul to the argument, and Chuck has no competition with Saul. When Jimmy goes in there and ultimately goes, you fuck with my girl, I'm going to fuck with your whole case, and goes in there and takes Mesa Verde documents at the end of the episode, changes the address on being sent back to them so that they can't get the documents back. So it's going to look like Hamlin McGill fucked up because they didn't get the things back. So Jimmy... One
little typo that makes a huge difference.
Huge difference, Katie. So Jimmy ultimately gets the better of Chuck. When Chuck too weak at the end later, Jimmy uses that as an opportunity to do something under Chuck's nose and do something straight out of spite and bring Saul. I think really bring Saul out and go, okay, you think you can out talk me and out maneuver me? I'll show you out maneuvering, motherfucker, and takes it to another level and drops the
That's another level. That's a big other level though. That's a deliberate like.
Oh yeah, that's Saul level. Again, that fucking Saul level. That's
taking the money right out of the register.
Yeah, but it's that next gear that he has that only someone like Jimmy's gonna think, I'm gonna fucking get a bagpipes because Begley Jr. played guitar in The Office, so because he can play guitar, I can play fucking bagpipes. So I'm gonna fucking do it because it's an instrument. That it takes a different kind of mind to on the fly think of those things. And in this moment, he thinks, you know what? I don't give a shit about the law. I don't give a shit about the law. Fuck it.
Fuck him. He fucked him.
Yeah,
fucking our shit up.
You can't con a con, brother.
That company does not. I brought them Sandpiper. They're going to have Sandpiper. They're making enough money. They're not going hungry.
No.
So she doesn't go hungry. And she earned that. You could just give that one up to her. But no, you had to come in there and fuck with the situation. Fuck with me. Because of me. And if you want to play big boy games with me, Chuck, I'll play big boy games too. Yeah, let's play. And that's why Jimmy went there.
Yes.
So it's strictly a spite move.
Oh,
you know in poker how you're playing and someone pisses you off and you call, not because you think you have a better hand. You call, you even make a stupid move and push all your chips in with fucking shitty ass cards that you know are fucking illegal that you shouldn't be allowed to play. And you push all in and you go, not you, Joe, but anybody, spite call. fucking spike call. It happens. And Jimmy spike calls here.
Oh, I've spike called a couple times.
Oh, I know. I just didn't want to think
right more often than wrong, but still probably shouldn't have called.
Right. And you're dead. And sometimes you do it when you're dead, or you're doing it you think you get a read or whatever. And Jimmy thinks he can take this to the next level. He ups the ante here to do 10 more poker metaphors.
Big time, yeah.
This situation.
And it's going to be great too, because he doesn't even know what the fuck Chuck's speech was about young eyes catching those little things and all this crap. And all he does is switch 2 digits around.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's a small thing. It's easy to overlook.
It's easy to make it seem like it was someone else that did it. Edward says, fucking with documents, that went beyond Saul level. That was Walter White territory. It was a little deeper in the psychosis of dark. And I think that's because with your family or your best friends and stuff, you'll go harsher to your family and best friends. You'll fuck with those people almost more than you'll fuck with a stranger. I don't think Saul would do that, again, just even to Howard necessarily. I think that is all about Chuck. That is all about feeling like Chuck did this personally, so I'm going to show him personally too.
Right. Absolutely.
And it was Howard's job to do it. It was Chuck going beyond, taking off the potato suit, going in there with fucking phones and lights on. That was a complete spite move. There's no other way to look at it.
And making himself a martyr because of it too. Oh my gosh, what did I just do? And to Jimmy, who doesn't take his situation seriously at this point because of the events of last season.
And this
just is looking at him in this scene like, oh yeah, now you're on the couch and hiding under your fucking mood blanket, you little fucking bitch. And I just love how he gives him those you can read Jimmy in the entire scene at the end when he comes in and just looks at Chuck. So Chuck, how's it going? No, you leave.
He puts a nice big smile on his face too when he's waiting for Chuck to wake up.
Oh, you in pain, Chuck?
You in pain, Chuck?
You hurting?
Yeah, what you going? And let's not forget, we had in the midst of all this, we're kind of talking about this episode all around, but we're going to cover all the points. We get Jimmy trying to shoot his commercial. Jimmy on the set of his newest commercial. He's taking his two-person camera crew to the military to find a geriatric former client posing as a World War II vet he defended in a masturbation thing in front of a rare plane.
The dolly.
There's a wheelchair.
Just in general, the dolly was a wheelchair. Yeah. Just in general, this scene was fucking beautiful. And the way it looked, and it was just exceptionally shot, and just Better Call Saul at its best right there in that moment. I can't say enough good things about why it looked. So Jimmy goes to Chuck's home where he finds a stack of paperworks. Now how he's being pinned under the gutter. He slips off into the good night, going to the office where he sliced the paper. We kind of talked about this, doctoring the documents, almost like in the movie JFK, where they cut with the Photoshopping going on. You just see him go in there, dun, dun, dun. It's another little montage of him sliding numbers and letters, big bright green, lots of green colors in this moment. The copier, the illuminated screen as Jimmy and the light dissolves into each scene. It's just again, really exceptional stuff and really filmmaking the top of the line. I feel like
24-hour copy center. How many of those are there out there?
A lot.
Really?
Especially around colleges. Especially around colleges and cities. I'm not saying that means anything to this specific, but I know at times when I was in college and I need to copy something at 4:00 in the morning because I'm working on a test or something, I've been able to go to copy places that have been open either on campus or off campuses to be able to use that kind of stuff. CopyCop, I believe, has, especially around finals periods, they'll run 24 hours a day type things. So I don't think this is completely out of the norm of a possible real life situation.
No, I've heard of such things.
I've heard of such things too.
Awesome. Good to know.
Good to know. Okay, Joe's like,
I've heard the stories.
In case I have to. And
War hero? Yeah, like they grow on trees. So this guy owes me. Sorry. I defended him a while back when he couldn't.
Just playing a couple quotes.
What? You want to be a lawyer when you grow up? Just fix the
public masturbation. Total bullshit.
All right, keep your voice down.
Total bullshit.
Power of speech. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Chop, chop. All right, hands on hips.
Lily of the Valley says Kinko started that even in the 90s, Joe.
Right?
I added the Joe, but I think that was directed at you.
Proud. All right. See the bomber. Okay, the bomber's the main point, so see it.
I see the freaking bomber. You couldn't just plop the dude in front of a flag. Why do we have to come here?
Production value, showmanship. You rolling?
Yeah, rolling.
Like, can he be any more Saul Goodman? This is Saul Goodman. This isn't Jimmy McGill anymore. This isn't Slippin' Jimmy. This is Saul fucking Goodman.
Totally Saul.
Start the dolly.
All but the name.
Start the dolly.
The greatest generation.
Are the greatest.
You fought the Nazis.
He fought the Nazis.
Fought the Japanese.
What?
Fought the Japanese.
Fought the Japanese. This machine was used in the Pacific, where the Japanese are.
Why don't you shut up and learn to take some direction? All right, fine. You fought all the
Such respect for that.
hours. Your band of brothers
Masturbating veteran.
together, and you saved the world. You're heroic. Not that heroic. Just throw it away a little.
Peel down the heroism.
Coursing through your veins. Look up. Picture a ball scoring. Shit.
Oh, fucking beautiful.
You know what he's saying shit to? The collective audience of people that are like want Bob Odenkirk to keep fucking going. I could not help it. That made me laugh so much last night. I am literally in tears right now having listened to
God, yeah.
That was amazing.
fucking amazing stuff. He is so fucking good. I just can't. I honestly just can't stand it.
There's nothing going on here.
awesome.
There's nothing wrong going on here.
Gosh. People say, great quotation. I'm always getting nervous that Jimmy's going to get caught during his schemes. And people
Oh
say
my
copy
goodness,
places
yeah.
were everywhere in my university 24/7. Remember, all Kinkos were 24 before they merged with FX. Vince Gilligan just knows how to write old men in wheelchairs.
Why?
And very good point. Someone else pointed out that maybe symbolism in the episode of what Big J and Katie was kind of hinting at, and we were talking about, and Joe was talking about, that we could have got the foreshadowing of of Hector in a wheelchair. We see Hector later in the episode.
Oh.
Very Hector-like situation.
Yeah.
Earlier in the episode. It's in the same episode where Mike is setting
Ding
up.
ding 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 ding.
So that could be more parallels and more shit laid for us by Vincent.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought that immediately.
Butch, right here. Butch.
What is it, Ernie?
Butch, Jimmy, man, I'm at your brother's and he's bad.
Bad. How bad?
He's, I don't know, bad, shaking. I've never seen him like this. He keeps telling me not to call a doctor.
Let me guess. He's been going into the office.
Yeah, and Jimmy's like, let me guess. It's all his goddamn fault. And I forgot also to mention that there is some Jimmy and Kim stuff that we kind of skipped over about after she loses the case and stuff like that. They talk about whether they should really do this still, and I think they ultimately do.
Oh yeah. No, that I wanted to say about that. I thought it was funny on her part because Jimmy, it was never dependent on her getting this case, whether or not Jimmy wanted to do this with her.
This was a done deal.
And it was just an interesting view into like her little bit of insecurity, and
like she's not going to be able to do this now.
It made her very much more human to me. And she can come off as cold a lot of the time.
Exceptional point, Katie, because so many people can relate to that kind of feeling that when you wrap up in a real life situation, even if you do legitimately care about your partner, whether it's a romantic partner or a best friend or a business partner, you care so much about them, but because of the shit you're going through, you get so wrapped up in the stakes of your situation that you think the whole thing is dependent on your situation. Like, okay, Joe and I are going to take our Warcraft characters and battle in the tournaments. I'm so concentrated on my own character. I don't care that Joe is level fucking 100 and going to carry the whole fight because I don't give a shit I'm like, I can't do this, Joe, because my character isn't good enough. You know, I'm failing. We can't do this. I need to get back and work on my character, Joe, to be able to fight with us. And Joe's like, don't worry about it. It's not going to affect me. I'm going in the tournament anyway. Fuck you. And in similar situation here with Kim in that moment where she's so wrapped up in her own bullshit that, and I'm not saying bullshit to demean it, but her own bullshit that she doesn't realize that, no, you said we're not getting a company together. Jimmy's doing this no matter what. Jimmy doesn't care about the nail salon. The only reason he's moving out of the nail salon is because you can't move into the nail salon. I mean, he's doing that for you too. Yeah. I mean, ultimately we see where Saul ends up. He never leaves strip malls. He likes the strip mall. He likes being in that kind of place. That's
his people.
Those are his people.
It's his comfort zone. Yeah.
Oh, Tim, thank you. We're getting very, very close. I do have to say, Phil, we're at about 4,980 plus subs right now, so we're getting very close to that 5,000 point.
Wow.
I did a Q&A with the 5,000, so if anyone has any questions, questions they definitely want me to answer in a Q&A, please drop it in the comment section below of this video or email me at igotissuesman@gmail.com. Tweet me, direct message me on Twitter, on Facebook, whatever. If you have any questions for that upcoming 5,000 Q&A, thank you to everybody that's helped make it happen.
I got a few questions.
And Joe might have a couple questions too, but we'll get into all of that later. But huge thank you to everybody that's been helping since we made that mention a couple months ago about getting a push to try to get to that milestone of 5,000. So it means a lot to us.
Magic. I pressed the button.
You can't say that enough. Joe, I really appreciate all your fake subscriptions in the last 24 hours of creating accounts and subbing. That's what Joe's been doing.
I've been tirelessly doing it.
Joe's been creating accounts and subscribing to the channel. So I really appreciate all your efforts, Joe, to get us to 5,000.
The worst is having to comment under all the assumed names in the chat and having to comment and all that chat. That's just me.
It's tough.
For whoever's watching now.
It's very tough. Okay, so here we go, and here we go. Okay, so when we need 13. When you have a honeypot like that in your career, your personal life, or whatever, the rug gets pulled up under your feet. You're almost the very next day. It poisons your confidence big time. I relate to Kim so much.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Well said.
Absolutely. Everyone's Joe, one-man show. 13 more subs. We can do a Q&A with Walking Dead. Yes.
The tough part is having to work the puppet and work the Phil puppet at the same time in different locations.
It's really tough. Joe is literally a one-man show, and absolutely not the Q&A, but I'll definitely be working with the Walking David at some point in time, doing a video with him. I'd love to do something with him at some point. So Jimmy rushes to Chuck's home where he finds him under a stack of paperwork. It's just a whole big crying fucking pop situation.
So what happened? They're sticking with HHM.
Well, this is the scene with Kim and Jimmy.
Paige said they went over there this afternoon for some kind of courtesy meeting.
Wow.
She thought, and Kevin got his head turned.
Yep, and
Chuck.
And Chuck. And Sam is in the chat saying, yes, this is Joe, not Sam. Sam isn't subscribed at all. This is just Joe.
There is no Sam.
Fucking Bill and Tom. Oh, so many great people that have helped make this happen. So Joe is simultaneously everybody in the chat at all times. Joe is one.
It's my multiple personalities releasing themselves.
Yeah, it's starting to affect our relationship.
It really is. I mean, Katie's calling me the other night and she's like, can you send me a copy of that Shut the Fuck Up?
It's you who she's calling?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's like she's just like, Phil, can you just play this for me? I need to hear this.
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
Okay.
And there's Joe. We're all Neeg. Joe. We're all Neeg. Joe.
We're all
Neeg. Oh my gosh. Okay. And she's like, play it. What do you mean?
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
Sorry, I got off of it for a second.
I love it.
But we gotta be fair, Joe. I mean, it's only fair. It's only fair. So, at the end of this episode.
Shut the fuck up, man.
Okay, I'll shut the fuck up. I'm sorry.
He sounds more like he's trying to land you in the bed there.
Yeah, that's a
creepy one.
Let you shut the fuck up, Phil.
Shut the fuck up, Phil, and do get on your knees.
Oh my god!
With that music behind it, that porn music.
You sure do have a pretty mouth.
Oh,
the next time I hear you play that, you better have shaved a nice porn stash into your face.
Hey, boys and girls.
Shut the fuck up, man.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so.
Shut the fuck up, man.
So the end of this episode.
I'm Joe smirking revenge. Thank you for the Fight Club fucking quote.
I am Joe smoking ridiculous.
We're all Joe. So the end of this episode, we get there we go.
Is that Tim? It's gotta be Tim.
Welcome to the show. What do you got to say, caller?
Yeah, I gotta say, you have a real pretty mouth, Bill.
Thank you.
Oh, beautiful.
I have a real pretty mouth, he said.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Have a pretty mouth, Phil.
I got it. Phil, you got a pretty mouth.
Deliverance, Phil, from evil.
So,
we got music, we got comedy, we got pretty mouths.
We got a very pretty mouth, Katie. So basically, the end of this episode, just to get through it, people are like, just finish the episode, goddammit. Mike's doing a do-it-yourself project of his own with the assistance.
Let's not do it yourself. It's do it with your It's family time.
Family time. They drill holes into a garden hose to help water the rhododendrons. Did I say that word?
Irrigation for the garden.
Yep.
He tells his daughter-in-law. When the ladies leave, Mike shoves the power drill into the house. In the scene, it's really fucking a great scene of Mike going all MacGyver and hammering or putting long nails into the hose. He just says nothing. And I forgot to mention earlier, when Mike's doing his spying, we carry him through him spying a couple times, and he eventually follows the box to the warehouse where he sees Hector's crew. So something.
Well, we see Hector too at the.
We actually see Hector.
Well, we see him earlier too when he's staking out at the ice cream place. He goes in there with some guy with a slicked back ponytail after the place is closed, after a delivery comes in.
Yeah.
And that is the end of our episode. Let's hit on a couple of quick.
What did the popsicle stick say? Can you tell me that?
Well, I think we said that earlier. Sam had mentioned.
No, we said the back of the truck was frozen gift, but what?
Yeah.
La Familia de la
No, it was de Nuestra La Familia, and then I couldn't find. It was
anyone's
of our family, something.
If anyone actually speaks Spanish, maybe they can tell us.
De Nuestra La Familia.
But he's been making that route a lot, and we forgot to mention that with the rock and the gun
I apologize
hidden.
for my accent.
So I've got a couple of quick thoughts about this. This is a great showcase from Michael McKean. Chuck demonstrates that. This is from an article, but there are a couple of quick points to see. And I think this article is from, I don't know, like Vulture or something like this. This was a great showcase for Michael McKean as Chuck. Shows that Jimmy isn't the only salesman in the family. The difference between brothers, that Chuck's running a hustle because he wants a client to be aware of. The routine works because everyone in the conference room understands what Chuck is really saying, the most effective context, while still being a showman. But it's also a little slimy, as well, as Joe mentioned. It's always fun to watch Mike be a MacGyver solution up a problem. In this case, having Kaylee's help to build a spike strip out of a garden hose while convincing Stacy that he's making something to soak the rhododendrons.
Yeah,
it's
perfectly innocent.
Really fun. It's gonna stop the ice cream truck and figure out what's going on. Here we go. Ordinarily, the show wouldn't bother using recognizable actors, but the Brendan Fayer to play the Air Force officer giving Jimmy
recognize him.
Students tour of the B-29 Super Fortress, which they use as a backdrop for Jimmy's practice. Given that it's the only scene, it would be much cheaper to use a local actor to fly in. But the actor hired got violently ill on the day of the shoot. The actor that they hired for the shoot got violently ill. Fortunately, NBC's The Night Shift also films in Albuquerque, which this actor works on.
Mm-hmm.
But so he was stepped up and knew Vince Gilligan personally and just knew that they were sunk, and he jumped in there and played the part.
Yeah,
I liked
he
it.
poisoned
I liked
the
it.
actor that was supposed to play the part
So he
because
could
it's
get
an
in.
awesome show, and he really wanted to.
Very good point, Katie. I'm also
I know all about this.
He does. Katie's the song playing while Jimmy is at the coffee stop. Why Don't You Worry is by Little Barry, who also provides the theme music to the Saul song, the opening theme song. Let's hand it to national hero Theodore Fudge Talbert, played by Robert Grossman. Fudged fake connection, sure was foreshadowing Tio's Hector's fate. We talked about that earlier. Saul's numbers rackets continues. License plate 4Y8K2 and DTO1WFO 3/4 inch drills 121. I don't understand what it's trying to say.
There was just that's the small stuff. What does the stick say? That's what
refreshing. It says popsicle stick translation from our family to yours. From our family to yours, Joe. I did have it in the note. It actually had it in the notes. And nice. Jimmy and Kim are dining at, here we go, guys, another one. When Jimmy and Kim are sitting having at the hot dog house, they are dining at the very same hot dog house that Jesse would be used to sling meth on Breaking Bad.
Oh, hello.
Perfect.
There we go. Kevin would have shined Kim's med, blah, 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 a couple more things. Can I just anticipate Fudge? Oh my gosh, Fudge is great. And this is just a theory floated up by the author. Jimmy's signal being rhubarb is a reference to a Saturday Night Live parody of Password back in the day. It might have been a skit that Odenkirk wrote because he was working as a writer on Saturday Night Live. Michael likes canned goods, him and his girl Friday, wonder why he's single. Okay, so there's that, and we got a couple of other comments from people that were watching the episode last night. Let's see if I get those. A couple of people had some comments. Do I have them? Okay, Alexia said, okay, I just watched the show. I'll see the review will be tomorrow. Not much action this time around, but a good building suspense episode. This one did keep me captivated all evening.
Me too.
And Frank says, the boxes that Jimmy took in the document were labeled Mesa Verde, so it's going to screw up Mesa Verde account, and knowing where the problem is, Jimmy and Kim will be sending Kim to the rescue. Tonight's episode made me realize Chuck is not a clean rise above being shady. Both Chuck and Jimmy are truly cut from the same cloth. And that is a good line to end it on. And do you guys have any other final points? And what are you guys hoping to see in the last couple of episodes of Better Call Saul, Joe and Katie?
Oh, gosh. That's
more the same?
Yes, more of the same. I think they're doing a beautiful job.
Yeah, I have nothing. There's nothing I'm like, I really want to see this happen or that happen. Whatever they're doing, wherever they're taking me, I'm in no rush to get there.
Nope.
I am completely in their hands. I'm someone that looks at character motivation very much from my own eyes and what I would like to do and see and stuff. This kind of takes me out of that kind of thing because I don't like. There's so much just real life moments, and I don't care where they're taking me. They're doing a great job getting me there. This is just what the caller was referring to the other night, and this is where it's all about the journey and not necessarily about the finish.
Yes.
So Joe, you're basically saying that you would let Vince Gilligan take you on a trip like in one of those haunted houses where you're closing your eyes and you have to stick your hand into a lot of different things, I
trust him.
You trust him.
Yeah.
I'll fall with Vince Gilligan.
And I don't feel like he'll do what The Walking Dead did to me the other night and put a penis in my hand at the end.
Yep. And
that isn't my own anyway.
A dirty penis.
Yeah, a dirty one that's been stuck in the mud or like handled by Lagatha after like being cut off by Lagatha herself.
Handled by Oslog.
Oslog. No. Lagatha's cut off penis. Like that's the last thing you get.
So on that note, on cut off.
Yeah. I don't know where I went with that. But anyway, there's nothing that I need to see from them. What about you, Phil? What do you want to happen?
I don't know if I'm kind of with you, Joe. I don't necessarily know if I want anything to happen, but what I do want to see is I want to see this situation with the Salamancas come to sort of a head at the end of the season and see Mike really engage with them and start to lay his plan along. And I also would not mind Mike and Jimmy's story intersecting again. I wouldn't. It wouldn't bother me to get at least one or two more.
I love Mike action, so I would love to see some more Mike action.
And as much as I love what the show's doing, I really love when Mike and Jimmy get together and they have scenes together. Yes. And I feel like we
haven't seen that in a while.
It was a couple of episodes that we got, but it was very brief. I feel like we need more of it, and I don't feel like let me rephrase. I don't feel like we need more of it. I feel like I would like to see more of it, and I have a feeling they know I'd like to see more of it. So I have a feeling we will at least
They're laying off of it to give it more of it next season, I think.
we use this description a lot, Joe, and it's very, very apt to a lot of the shit we talk about. You're starving for a long time and you're hungry and someone gives you a cracker. It's the best cracker in the world.
They know that stuff worked well.
And they know that stuff works well. So they really want to do that. And I don't know where we go. Here we go. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Was somebody trying to... Oh, I didn't know if somebody was trying to call in. No, we are good for the evening. Joe, Katie, it's been very awesome talking to you guys about Better Call Saul. Two more episodes and the Better Call Saul's over. And I got to say a huge motherfucking thank you to the motherfucking issue chat. Hashtag
thank you very much.
Fuck Chuck isn't going on in the chat right now.
Thank you, Big J.
Thank you, Big J, for calling in.
Thank you, Jay.
And Lily the Veil. Mike isn't getting caught touching himself in public, so doesn't need Jimmy. No, he does not need Jimmy. So everybody, if you've enjoyed this podcast, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit the like button. Please share it with a friend. We're very close to 5,000 subscribers. Really appreciate that. If anyone has any questions for the 5,000 subscriber podcast, you know how to reach me. You know all the ways. Email, tweet, leave in the comment section. I will eventually, Tim. So everybody...
No, you won't.
Never.
I don't believe it.
You think he's long-winded here? Get him on the phone.
We will be back on Thursday to talk some Vikings Thursday evening, and then 2 more weeks of some Better Call Saul. So, Joe, Katie, I'll talk to you guys next time.
Sweet.
Not enough.
Bye. Bye. Everybody in the chat,
more.
Have a great
day. Oh, bye.
Shop Love Podcast, fam. 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 Shop Love Podcast, fam.